Expectation for Chen Yufei couldn't be higher.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Chen Yufei, China.
Big cheers go up for the home player, Fei Fei, as she is affectionately known.
Hangzhou, Korea.
Big cheers too for the world number one of Korea. It is An Se-young, the Republic of Korea, to get us underway.
Play.
Good point for Chen Yufei to start off this gold medal match. Look of disappointment on An Se-young's face. She fails to get across to that shot in time. Chen Yufei going for the smash, but it goes out, and An Se-young has her first point on the board in this gold medal match. Quite tentative rally so far to start things off, as you might expect. It's a huge occasion. That was instinctive from An Se-young. She didn't attempt to play that. Would have been tempting to catch that one in the air, but she didn't. She turned to watch it land behind her. Instead, she knew that it was going long. Good response, though, from Chen Yufei. An Se-young set Chen Yufei up for that big smash there, just sending that really high looping shot over towards her. Chen Yufei then had plenty of time to get her shot ready. Big smash. An Se-young unable to position herself and get the shot away. Finds the net instead, gives the point to China. Well, she's a really graceful, delicate player, as An Se-young. She doesn't have the power that some of her opponents have, but what she does have is great vision, the ability to move deftly around the court.
5-4. Setptember 5-6. Setptember 7-5.
Chen Yufei goes for that big smash. Han Xiong on the ground, shaking her head, looking over towards her coaches, puzzled. So important for Han Xiong to get a good start here, because she's not only playing Chen Yufei, she's also playing 4,000 odd Chinese fans in this Binjiang Gymnasium, which can be like a pressure cooker. Han Xiong will be feeling much more positive about that one. I suspect that maybe it's just nerves getting the better of the Korean at the moment. She hasn't settled into this one just yet. It's quite an overwhelming occasion down there on court number 1. All eyes on that court. Fans chanting for China. Goes wide, Chen Yufei with the error. And takes that point. Staying in touch. Listen to the noise around the Binjiang Gymnasium. Chen Yufei, a native of Hangzhou. Oh, Chen Yufei did really well to recover to actually keep that rally going. But there's that great vision that An possesses. She goes into the corner here. Chen Yufei does a great job in retrieving the shot. But there's that killer instinct. Up at the net, she gets that shot finished off quickly. Draws level at 8-all. Chen Yufei rushing up to get that point finished off quickly. She is helped out by the net. She very nearly didn't get that point. She apologises to An Se-young because she knows that that one could have gone either way.
Setptember 9-10. Play.
And Se-young making the right call and just letting that one fall rather than try and play it. Again, such good vision. She knew that that was going wide. Didn't panic, didn't try and play the shot, didn't rush at it. Well, full marks for effort. An Se-young with a couple of incredible retrievals there, but was unable to keep her balance, and Chen Yufei was able to capitalise on that and send that winner straight past her opponent. But An Se-young, what a retrieval here. Stumbles when she gets up, gets back down to get that one. Slips again at a crucial moment, and it's Chen Yufei who leads at the break, 11 points to 10.
Seconds. 20 seconds. Players on the court. Silver is already won. Thank you. 11-10.
clear class from An Se-young. That was absolutely magic. How on earth did she manage to pull that shot off? And she just set that up beautifully. Such patient play. She gets Chen Yufei out of position, goes for that far corner. She made the Olympic champion look very ordinary there. Chen Yufei will be ruining that missed opportunity, just overcooking it and going wide. Did well to pick that one up. Just stops and stares as it lands wide of the mark. An Se-young again with that killer blow. Chen Yufei ends up hitting the deck in an effort to try and retrieve that. And could this be the turning point? Could this be where An Se-young really finds her groove? It looks like her confidence is beginning to grow. She's settling into this game. Could this be a turning point? Oh, it goes just wide, and that is a relief for Chen Yufei.
12-13. Setptember 14-12. Thank you. Next is already one.
Chen Yufei foiled by the net. An Se-young pulls 3 points clear now. Chen Yufei looking rattled. was great reaction speed from An Se-young, but the execution wasn't there. You can see the tactic that Chen Yufei is trying to employ. She's trying to bring An Se-young up to the net, play those gentle, deft shots that land just over the net, but An Se-young is able to pick up everything. Well, there was a mile of space left wide open behind Chen Yufei. Both players up at the net, almost playing on top of each other. But with Chen Yufei in that position, she had a racket up ready. An Se-young went right behind her. Chen Yufei celebrates that long shot from An Se-young.
14-16.
That's probably the way she's going to win most of her points. Errors from An Se-young. She doesn't look to be able to create anything. Her tactics seem to be to draw the Korean up to the net and win the points that way, but that hasn't worked so far. Well, that was ruthless from Chen Yufei. She got An Se-young on the ground.
Thank you. Chen, get ready.
An Se-young is calling for the court to be dried off. Umpire says no. Chen Yufei is toweling down. Umpire tells her to get back out on court. He's not allowing any delaying tactics from either player here. Really smart, patient play from An Se-young, going for one corner, drawing Chen over to that side of the court and then going for the other, finding a really tight, acute angle and slotting away that winner. Well, it was out. Chen Yufei thinks otherwise. If it is indeed out, then An Se-young goes 3 points clear once again. It's the biggest lead she's had so far. Challenge unsuccessful. An Se-young increases her lead to 15 to 3.
Remaining 18-15. Play.
right on the line. That was a great point for Chen Yufei. Han Seong seemed to be caught napping there. Maybe she thought that was going wide. Decided not to play it. Reducing that deficit now to just a point. Forcing Han Seong into the air at the end of that. That was a rally in which both players found themselves on the ground at various stages in the rally. Both recovered well to carry on playing. Han Seong looks like she might have hurt herself. She's limping over towards the edge of the court. Stretching at her knee. It looks like maybe she hurt herself and she fell during one of those rallies, and hopefully it's not too serious. And Seong is on her feet, which is a good sign. Looks like she's okay to continue just testing out that knee. It's already heavily strapped, and perhaps she took a bit of a knock when she fell to the ground there during one of those rallies. Interesting to see what kind of impact that has had on her when we resume here. She's just a single point ahead. Will that give Chen Yufei a psychological boost, seeing that her opponent is potentially injured? Han Seong just watches that one fall wide. Her lead increases to 2. She looked to be moving quite tentatively during that rally, perhaps just trying to protect that knee, not quite sure of her range of movement. game points for An Seung. A rather tame return from Chen Yufei into the net. It's An Seung of the Republic of Korea with 3 game points. Chen Yufei saves the first, perhaps. Han Seung not sure of that knee and didn't stretch for it. First game point saved. Look of determination on the face of Chen Yufei. It goes wide, and An Seung wraps up the opening game, 21 points to 18. An Seung was receiving a bit more treatment to that knee during the break between games there, and I do wonder whether that is a psychological boost for Chen Yufei, who was watching on.
2-all.
Well, that is a surprising mistake from An Se-young. She's just playing that the elegant, patient badminton that we know her for, but she was just lacking in accuracy, which is surprising to see. Maybe affected by that knee problem. That's a really great point for China. Well worked. An Se-young on the back foot throughout, perhaps a range of movement limited. Perhaps she's not got full confidence in that right knee that she's had heavily strapped up since the beginning of this match. She's had to call for reinforcements to get it even more bandaged. And this is the biggest lead that Chen Yufei's had. With An Se-young up at the net, Chen Yufei pounced. An Se-young falling to the ground again, and she put her hands out to stop that knee hitting the ground. Hands breaking the fall, but holding the knee out. To wonder whether that's causing her a bit of trouble out there. An Se-young gets a valuable point on the board.
3-7.
And 5 points off the pace is not something she's used to at all. Another long shot from China, gifting the point to An Se-young. That 5-point lead now down to 3. Chen Yufei doesn't want to give away points that way. Oh, good response from An Se-young.
Setptember 5-8.
Chen Yufei finding space. She had her opponent on the opposite side of the court. And it would have been a big ask for An Se-young to make it back over, especially when it was on her left-hand side. An Se-young just left standing, helpless looking, as that shot sails by, and it is Chen Yufei who has the lead at the interval, 11 points to 5. Well, An Se-young not looking like the same player she was in the opening game. Definitely looking rattled, and Chen Yufei will be sensing the opportunity to capitalise. China leading at the break, 11 points to 5. With a look of dejection on An Se-young's face, the shoulders slumped.
6-12.
That was a good shot from An Se-young, and that will give her a bit of a lift, I'm sure. She has not been having a good time of it out there on court in this second game. Sigh of relief for An Se-young as that one goes wide. And if the world number one can get a couple more points on the board, I'm sure she'll feel a lot more comfortable. Chen Yufei's lead decreasing slightly. Oh, well, that was just in. An Se-young wasn't able to get to that one in time. She was way out of position. She was up at the net. She was barely even on her feet. And this time it's An Se-young who punishes Chen Yufei, who this time finds herself in a vulnerable position on the ground, as her opponent has been so often in this second game. And it looks as though An is having trouble with that right knee. You could see she was just holding her foot up, opted to hop along instead of putting the weight on that right leg. Well, having to lunge forward at the net like that will not be helping An Se-young if she does have a problem with that knee. That point going to Chen Yufei. She apologises for it because that was a lucky one. Luck was on her side. That could have gone either way. I'm sure that An Se-young will be thinking that she could have done with that point. She could have done with the net doing her a favour on that occasion. Nice work. Up at the net, An Se-young. Quick hands, quick thinking. And a simple put away, just slotting that shot past Chen Yufei. That's a valuable point for An Se-young. She knew not to play that one. That was the right decision. I'm sure one that she welcomed, given that she doesn't look to have full confidence in that right knee. Nice point for An Se-young, who closes that gap to 3 now. Can she make a comeback? Well, that one goes wide. Chen Yufei takes the point. She tried to win the rally with the smash. An Se-young was onto her, able to get the return in. Sends it back to Chen Yufei, but then it was An Se-young with the error in the end. Just couldn't get her position right to play that shot. She needed her body to be a bit more behind it, but she played it too far on her right-hand side and sent it wide. Well, An Se-young at full stretch will welcome that wide shot from Chen Yufei, because she found herself again on the ground. She wouldn't have been able to get up and recover in time to get over to the other side of the court. But luck was on her side, because Chen Yufei's shot goes wide. Point goes to An Se-young. She's 3 behind. She needs to keep pace here if she's to get this done in 2. Chen Yufei is sensing that she can wrap this one up and take it to 3. Oh, nice point indeed from An Se-young. She closes that gap now. She's edging closer to Chen Yufei. But does she believe? She hasn't looked her absolute best in this second game. She's looked off the pace. She's looked below par. She doesn't look as if she's been having a good time out there on court number 1 at all. Chen Yufei, on the other hand, has looked confident. She's got the full support of the crowd behind her as well. But An Se-young is now just 2 points behind. What a point from Chen Yufei. Again, An Seong just slower to get to her feet than she usually is. She seems to be hitting the ground quite a lot and slow to recover when she does. Well left, Chen Yufei going long. She'll be frustrated with that one.
16, 18.
Well, she's had a number of lucky shots like that, Chen Yufei. More often than not, those have landed in her favor. Game points for Chen Yufei, this to go to a third. Although An Seong is challenging this one. If it's in, we go to a third. Or if it's in, rather, it is game points for Chen Yufei. Well, it's in. That's a great challenge from An Seong.
September 17, 19.
Great challenge from An Seong, who maintains contact in this second game. If she hadn't made that challenge, her opponent would have game points. But now, Chen Yufei does have game points because An Seong sends her shot long. Chen Yufei wins this point, we go to a decider. We're going to a decider here in this women's singles final Chen Yufei wrapping up that second game, 21 points to 17 to force a third. An Se-young looking like a shadow of her former self. Chen Yufei, consistent work from the Chinese world number 3. An Se-young receiving more medical attention, looking like she's having trouble with that knee. As Chen Yufei wraps up the second game, 21 points to 17. We are going the distance here in this women's singles final. Well, this is the third and final game. This is the decider. Whoever wins this will win the gold medal. An Se-young is out on court. She's ready and waiting. Having received more attention to that knee, it's been strapped up again. She's had ice on it and it has been reinforced. Will that make a difference in this third game? She didn't have full confidence in her range of movement in the second. She certainly looked to be bothered by that right knee in game 3, and Chen Yufei was able to capitalise on that. But he will take this third game. He'll win the decider, and with it, the gold medal. Well, an incredible display of agility from Chen Yufei with that ballet-like twirl, but it was all in vain. First point of the third game goes to An Se-young. Well, this is a much more positive start to this game for An Se-young, leading by 2 points to love. Long rally, and it ends with a mistake from Chen Yufei, sending it long. Oh, what a shot from An Se-young, and I suspect that was by accident rather than design, but it landed in an absolutely perfect position. The stretch getting the backhand across court, and look where it landed. An unplayable position for Chen Yufei. An Se-young leads by 4 points to love. Another great point from An Se-young, who looks absolutely revitalised in this third game. You can hear the crowd chanting Chen Yufei's name. She needs a response here. Well, that is a good one. An Se-young doesn't have to do too much to win that point. All she needs to do is just watch it sail over the line. Chen Yufei going long. Oh, no mistake with that one though. Straight down the line. Goes out, but Chen Yufei's challenging the call. Oh, well, it was only just out. But nevertheless, it was an unsuccessful challenge for Chen Yufei. Han Seung stretches her lead, 5 points ahead again. Well, what a recovery from Han Seung, who was sprawled flat on the court. Gets up, plays the shot, wins the point. Chen Yufei must be wondering how on earth she did that. Frustration for Han Seung, who had the beating of Chen Yufei throughout that rally. Han Seung was calm as you like, just floating, almost dancing around the court. She was pulling the strings, Chen Yufei having to defend. And in the end, it was Han Seung with the mistake. And again, patient from Han Seung, who doesn't have to do too much. Keeps the rally going. She's the one with the precision in that rally. Chen Yufei going long. Oh, and the mistake with the smash. Chen Yufei gifting her opponent that point. Han Seung extending her lead. 6 points ahead as we approach the interval in this deciding game. I don't think that the crowd quite realised that Chen Yufei had won that point, because there was no applause until the scoreboard changed. Well, Chen Yufei trying to finish off that rally with the big smash shots, but An Seung was onto everything. And at the interval, it's An Seung with a healthy lead, leading Chen Yufei by 11 points to 5. Chen Yufei with a lot of ground to make up here in this deciding match. An Seung still troubled by that knee, getting ice on it at the interval. But nevertheless, she has one hand on that gold medal. Oh, well, that was a bad mistake from An Seung. It was a playable shot, misjudged. Oh, Chen Yufei foiled by the net. An Seung was lucky there because she was running in the opposite direction, trying to reset, trying to get back into position. She had her back turned to Chen Yufei. Steer. And luckily for An Seung, Chen couldn't get the shot away. Well, that was the right decision this time to leave that one. Well, this time it's An Seung who benefits from the bounce at the net. Chen Yufei's had many of those shots work in her favour. This time it's the turn of An Seung, who again offers up the hand in apology. An Seung very much in the ascendancy now. 15 points to 6. She is 9 clear of Chen Yufei, the Olympic champion, the home favourite here in this gold medal match. An Seung looking rejuvenated, looking like a very different prospect, looking much more like the world number one than she was in the previous game. positive from Chen Yufei. Chen opted not to play that one. It was absolutely inch perfect by An Se-young. The Republic of Korea, she is now 10 points to the good, closing in on this gold medal. She's making light work of Chen Yufei in this deciding third game. Goes long. And An Se-young is just 3 points away now from Asian Games glory. Oh, that was as casual as you like. And An Se-young looks absolutely exhausted. Chen Yufei, the same. She's down on her knees. The medics are coming. Well, An Se-young has just been caught to her feet. She's also sitting on the ground at the other side of the court. The umpire has ordered her back to her feet. She's making her way back onto the court while Chen Yufei to receive some medical attention, perhaps a bit of cramp in the legs. And hopefully Chen Yufei is okay. $11 points off the pace though in this deciding third game. An Se-young senses victory. She is 2 points away now from the gold medal. An Se-young has match points, 12 gold medal match points for An Se-young of the Republic of Korea. Zhejiang Gymnasium. Stunned. An Se-young, the world number 1, is now Asian Games champion. She collapses to the ground in celebration. She is exhausted. She overcame a knee injury in that second game. She was visibly injured in game 2, but she has come through that. She has prevailed. She has beaten China's Chen Yufei in 3. Chen Yufei, the world number 3, the second seed here. The home favourite, the Hangzhou native, defeated by An Se-young, the number 1 player in the world, the best female singles player in Asia, Asian Games champion. Gold medal in the women's team, gold medal in the women's singles, and just look how much it means to her. Continental glory for the 21-year-old from the Republic of Korea. An Se-young does it in 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony.
An Se-young defeats Chen Yufei.
女士们、先生们，杭州第19届亚运会羽毛球女子单打颁奖仪式现在开始。
Please welcome the medalists and presenters.
有请获奖运动员、颁奖嘉宾入场。
This is the victory ceremony for the 5th and final match that we saw on court number 1 today in the Zhejiang Gymnasium. What a tournament it's been. Almost 12,000 athletes from 45 different nations all competing here in Hangzhou for Asian Games glory. Badminton, so highly regarded in this part of the world. The Asian Games title is the one they all want to win. It's more important almost than the Olympic Games. It's more important than the World Championships. Often these players will peak for the Asian Games. They'll sacrifice the World Championships for a shot at glory at the Asian Games. And here come the medalists. An Se-young is all smiles. It's not so long ago that there was a big grimace across her face as she looked to be in pain with that right knee that seemed to trouble her during the second game of her gold medal match against Chen Yufei.
The medals will be presented by
为获奖运动员颁发奖牌的是
President of Badminton Asia, Republic of Korea.
来自韩国的亚洲羽毛球联合会主席。
This is our presentation team.
Accompanied by
陪同颁奖的是
Vice Chairperson of the Standing Committee of Binjiang District People's Congress, People's Republic of China.
来自中国的杭州市滨江区人大常委会副主任周建航。
Bronze medalist, People's Republic of China.
获得铜牌的是来自
And the bronze medal of the women's singles Asian Games goes to Heibing Zhao of China, beaten in the semi-final by eventual winner An Se-young of the Republic of Korea. He Bingzhou takes bronze for China.
Bronze medalist, Japan.
获得铜牌的是来自日本的
Ohori Aya.
While sharing the bronze medal spot on the podium with He Bingzhou is Ohori Aya of Japan. Defeated in the semi-final by Chen Yufei of China. She takes bronze for Japan.
Silver medalist, People's Republic of China.
获得银牌的是来自中国的陈雨菲。
Well, Chen Yufei, the Hangzhou native, takes the silver medal. Took the world number one An Se-young to 3 games in that final. The world number 3, the second seed here, taking silver for China. Yet another silver for Chen Yufei at these games. She was part of the silver medal winning team for China earlier in the week. Adding to China's already significant medal tally in this badminton tournament.
获得金牌的是来自韩国的
An Se-young.
And here is the Asian Games champion. She is world number 1. She is champion at these 19th Asian Games. An Se-young of the Republic of Korea. She took gold in the women's team earlier in the week, and she takes gold in the women's singles. An Se-young is the champion in Hangzhou.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the anthem of Republic of Korea.
女士们、先生们，请起立奏韩国国歌。